I hope you're okay. Coffee. Well, yesterday was an interesting day. I went to pay a bill and there was 49 cents in my current account. And there had been 1,500 there the day before. I had been fleeced by a cyber uh, attacker, whatever. Cyber fraud. They had been taking, so we went to the bank and we discovered that taking 98 cents here and there out of my account for the last, no, not that, but last 6 months. So it wasn't noticeable. And they went for broke yesterday, and it was like I got my statement sheet printed out, and it was like 450, 450, 450, 450, 450, 450, 450, hundreds and hundreds of them, until there was 46 cents left in my account. And so how they did it was somehow they got my debit card details, and using my debit card details, they were able to clean out my current account. So all they were just charging and charging and charging to the debit card. So it was my current account is what I used to pay my bills, like my utility bills and stuff. So I started brought down to 46 cents overnight. So they probably over the last 6 months fleeced me out of about 3,000 to 4,000 euros, and it's with the fraud squad now. Hopefully I'll get the money back. The worst, biggest pain in the ass was having to go and get money from my savings and put it into my current account to cover any bills. But it just goes to show you how easy it is to have your money hacked and taken like that. And and as we move towards a more digital world, a more cyber world, you know, we're not protected. We're not protected. And if they can get, if someone in somewhere in the world can somehow get their hands on my debit card and all the PIN number or whatever it is, however they did it, and drain my bank account, sure, they can do anything. If everything moves to digital, they can do anything. They can they could they falsify criminal records on your thing, erase criminal records, steal your identity. I mean, really? And when you see they've rolled out the ping pong needlecraft passport things, and this green passport thing for the EU, sure, I mean, they have all this faith in all this stuff. The HSE, the Health Service Executive here in Ireland, claims to have had a massive cyber attack recently, and yet they're still totally depending upon digital stuff to do the ping pong, so people can travel. But it just goes to show you that, like, we've never been more vulnerable. We've never been more vulnerable than we are now. Just because everything has gone like to the digital world, and gone to that world. And yeah, so that was the first time in my life I've ever had that's ever happened to me. Anything like that. I was always the bank statement has to be seen to believe. It's like a computer printout, like from a spy movie. To do the same number over again, And there's me with the statements going, where's my fucking money gone? But there is, I was told by the bank if it is fraud, well, it is fraud, I'll get my money back. So I'm not that worried about it. But it's more of a pain in the ass, and the kind of thing that the fact it can be done is a real wake up call. And this is why, you can't have electoral ballots that are done on voting machines, because they're wide. I mean, they tried to introduce voting machines about 20 years ago here in Ireland, and there was nearly a revolution over it because people said they're wide open to fraud. And the Irish, as they are now, they probably introduce voting machines now. They'd probably all love it. Oh, look, we're bigger slaves than ever. Oh, sure, aren't we fucking great? The whole world is looking at the Irish and thinking, aren't they great? They're the biggest slaves of all. That's probably what they're like. Like yesterday, like the soft boy thing in this country amazed me. Yesterday, there's this camping and this hiking and mountaineering group I'm a member of on Facebook, an Irish one. And I'd say nearly everybody on it is a soft white boy, middle class soft boy, okay? And they do things like they go hike up a trail up Ben Bulbin, which your granny could do, right? And they have all the mountaineering helmets and ropes and kits and those lock things and everything, clips, as if they're going to fucking scale K2 or something at the Matterhorn. And they post selfies of themselves like they'd achieved something amazing. And then yesterday, there was a guy about 60 had posted a picture of him, a fucking great photograph of him, hanging over a sheer cliff, on the edge of a sheer cliff, like somewhere down those mountains down in Waterford, above a lake, and it looked a fantastic picture. And all the soft boys are all going, idiot, moron, putting his life at risk, moron, idiot. You do realize, of course, that mountain rescue crews will be the ones that have to pick up your body, you fool. Like, they want a completely snowflake version of nature and a snowflake version of mountaineering and hiking. And yeah, that they post selfies as if they've achieved something, like as if they're Sir Edmund Hillary or something, when they get up there. But it's just hopeless. It's not hopeless, but I mean, it's thing has gone so bad. And they had a a kind of a by-electiony thingy in Dublin base out the other day. And these things are handy to gauge the zeitgeist of the people. Now, it is an affluent area, so they always tend to vote lefty. And so there was, like, Justin Barrett, the National Party, and Dolores Cattle were running for election there. It's pathetic. The people, they're not, people go, oh, the votes were rigged and all that. They weren't. That's what they got. That's what they got. We don't have people who are pro-freedom in this country who are electable. I mean, the biggest issue with the National Party is they want to go back to Holy Catholic Ireland, and they want to have, they're so stringently anti-abortion and stuff like that. It's that's that's people don't want to go back to that, and I don't know anything about Dolores Cahill or anything. I don't know anything about the woman, so I'm not going to say anything. I've never met her or anything. I mean, she's obviously a smart person and everything. But I mean, I'm sure Justin Barrett's probably an okay guy as well. It's just that the 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 mandate is wrong, and it's like it's horses for courses. You're not going to swing Ireland way back to what it was just overnight. Now, the one who won the election, Ivana Bacik, she's a progressive lefty, but she's okay. She's not. She's an interesting person to hear her list talk and stuff like that. She's not. She's no dumbass or anything like that. She's establishment, of course, and all that. But she's an interesting person, and she's sincere. She's a sincere person, and I think that always comes across with her, even though she's running for the Labour Party, progressives, uh, and she's no change from the norm, and you can see, but you saw exactly how people think when they come to vote. They're angry at the government for the lockdown, but instead of voting for someone who is who is radical, they vote for someone in a mainstream party who's not in power. So Labour's not in power at the moment, so they vote for a Labour candidate. It was just like the last election. They didn't like the two main parties, Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, so they voted for Sinn Féin. And the next time so they voted for the opposite party, opposite mainstream party, and all the like Labour, Sinn Féin, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, Greens, the five main parties in Ireland, they're all exactly following the same mandate. So there's no change there. Now you may ask yourself, that sounds like the talk. Now you may ask yourself, how did I get here? How did I get here? Well, see, one of the things the people who are trying to swing the pendulum back towards the centre, and and this includes ones who are on the right, they're not understand how we got here. How we got here was critical theory. So it's taken 50 years for them to get to this level. 50 years, okay? Now they all, but it start they worked in decades, decades of critical theory, and it was institution the pub it was infiltrating the public institutions, the education system, the healthcare system, everything, every aspect of the state was slowly and infiltrated with critical theorists, and they swung every single facet of the state around to progressive left-wing Marxist ideology, to the point now where Ireland is a Soviet. I mean, Ireland's not a democracy; Ireland's a Soviet, and on par with, say, see, the only reason it's like we're Soviet, but people don't realize it because we're rich. Everyone has lots of money. Everyone's like making a few. Everyone's doing well. So no one's poor. No one's suffering, and so therefore we're yeah. I know there's homeless and everything like that, but I mean, and the average person is doing what is doing fine. So we don't know that we live in a Soviet because we always associate a Soviet with like extreme poverty and stuff like that. But that they just got it right. The critical theorists finally got it right, and you know you go to Denmark is another country like Ireland. You always hear about like you look at the countries that are at the top of the league of happiest countries. They're the Scandinavian countries and Ireland and New Zealand. Ireland, New Zealand are Soviets, okay, under lockdown, but the same kind of regimes. Uh, the Scandinavian countries are also Soviets, and the reason why they have the highest they call the happiest countries in the world is because they're all on antidepressants, massive amounts of them. I mean, especially in Denmark, colossal amounts of antidepressants. So that they swing around. They're not happy. It's not that they're not happy. They're just not sad because they're all stoned out of their heads. I like the Prozac. And but it's they had 50 years to do it, and they snuck up and did it over 50 years. So decided to think that they can do it overnight by running in by-elections or in national elections or whatever. It's not going to happen. They have 50 years to do it. So what is the answer? Well, it's definitely not, unless you're willing to wait 50 years. It's not it's not in the political. Look, Trump did it, okay? And look what happened in the end. I mean, they just stole the election in the end. So it's you're not going to get it that way. With all his power and his office, they still got him. So the thing is, like, the answer is not political. The answer is tribal. People breaking off and forming their own little tribes and trying to survive and taking care of one another. That have like-minded ways of thinking. And I think that's something that would develop much quicker than a 50-year cycle way of doing it through the system. Now, I don't. That's not to say that you couldn't have someone in the system who could change things. You could, if someone was very charismatic, likable, ran on, say, a pro-freedom ticket in Ireland or in your country, and they were the right kind of guy or woman. Yeah, I think it would happen. But I don't see. Do you see anyone out there like that? I don't. Do you see anyone out there do you see anyone in Ireland on the pro freedom side that people could point to and say, he has something, she has something. There's something very powerful in that person and likable. They don't exist. They just don't exist. And it's the same probably in your country as well. It's it's just a mess. And in Ireland here, I don't know how it is in your country, but all the people who are like on the pro freedom side, they're all fighting amongst each other. They all hate each other's guts, and so you have that whole division thing. Like, I had a situation yesterday where they're all basically running against each other in Dublin Bay South by election, or whatever the fuck it was, and If they had any sense, they would have picked the most electable one of them, put them in that place, and said to all their friends, all their side, "No, I know you don't like him, you don't like her, or whatever. Just vote for them. Just vote for them, okay?" And that way they could do a kind of a gerrymandering thing and artificially push them up the um, the rankings. And then, although you might not win, you create enough of a nervous tittle among the establishment that they kind of have to take it a little more seriously. And they're saying things like very disturbing, very disturbing results yesterday from Dublin South. Did you not see the right wing or far right? White nationalists got nearly 10%, 20% of the vote. Oh, it's very disturbing. You want that. You want that. And let them call them all the names you want. Let them call them all the names you want. But I see a lot of these kind of pro-freedom rallies, and I don't like a lot of people that go to them either. I know there's a lot of decent and good people there too. But you always hear someone going, give us back our freedom, you bollocks, yeah, fucking, yeah, Like your man, the League of Ireland, what was his name? You saw that video, League of Ireland fan. What's your favourite team? St. Patrick's Athletic. Who's your favourite player? The black fella in the green shirt, like you get a lot of that kind of thing, Barney. But I just don't see the answer to any of that stuff. There's, as you all know, there's not going to be some mass people's movement. I know it sounds a bit weird, but at the moment, I think doing nothing is probably the best solution. Because if you push against it, they're only going to make it worse for you. And it's only going to make you more upset. It's only going to make you more upset. And when I say push against, I mean politically. I'm totally in favor of people making videos and writing articles. And there was a great article in Spike yesterday about the situation in Ireland. Well, yeah, totally endorse people making videos and punditry and writing articles about it. That's where we can really win hearts and minds, is in the actual conveying in a very human sense how it's affecting us. I think people like John Waters do that very, very well. I mean, that man is obviously a patriot, but we don't see people like that anymore, really. And I'm saying like other people like David Cullen are patriots, but it's like, and there's lots of them out there. There's lots of people who don't write articles, and they do feel that way. But it's like not everyone has to step up. But that's our best tactic for now. That's the best tactic for now. On the pro-freedom side, because that's what we are now. We're actually trying to win our freedom back, and the pro-freedom. So it's not like a left thing or right wing thing or centrist thing. Like I'm practically an anarchist, basically an anarchist, and I'm sort of like what people that comes on the right wing with this. It's bipartisan, as they say in the old-fashioned days. Just keep hammering away, and best you can in your own style. Everyone has their own style of delivery to do this. But yeah, I don't see anyone in Ireland who is that catalytic figure that can sort of like, you know, help. Eddie Hobbs was okay. Yeah, he's not bad. I like Eddie Hobbs, and that Aisling lady off TV3, she's very likable, and she's very. She comes across very well, and she's the real thing. She's been badly burned by the mainstream here. She's the Aisling O'Rourke, I think her name is. I don't watch television, so if you're a fan of hers, my apology. But I watched an interview with her, and she came across very well. In her, so she reaches that type of demographic. Someone like John Waters reaches, his kind of people. Would appeal to that. Dave Cullen, likewise, and there's lots of them. I'm sure I don't know who I appeal to, but I just think because I'm like all over the place. But I was saying there's like That's the way to do it. To just That's how the critical theorists did it. They used the media and filled it full of their pundits and filled it full of their commentators. And that's a way to speed the process up. I mean, I'm not saying it will take 50 years. I'm just saying that's how long it took them. And their messages are repugnant, and for the most part. Look, I saw a thing yesterday and I could not believe it. I thought it was a joke, a South Park thing. And it was some San Francisco gay men's choir singing about "We're coming for your children." And I thought, they're doing this as a laugh. They're doing this for a laugh. Turns out that, like, half the ones in the videos are convicted sex offenders. And it really was a bunch of paedophiles singing "We're coming for your children" and meaning it and doing it to deliberately taunt people. So we're in Weimar Republic things now. So this is something that we can use, and this is why we need gay people who are not like that to stand up and say, I'm not down with this bullshit at all. And just like there was Irish people during the Troubles, when, like myself, when bombs went off in England and blew kids up on pubs and bus stations, and we were like, oh, not in my fucking name, no fucking way. There was millions of people that were like disgusted by it, but that's the same thing. But we did vocalize that enough until it became. We just did. We did, but we not enough. And there was, like, in the horrible bombs in England, there would be marches in places like Dublin saying "not in our name" and stuff like that. That's a good thing. That's the same thing that's what we need gay people to stand up to these types and say, and I'm not telling gay people how to live or anything. I'm just saying we need you to stand up against these types who are like saying, singing songs like "We're coming for your kids." That's what it was like. That's not, I'm not joking. And like I said, I thought it was a joke, but like a South Park type thing. No, it was real. They were deliberately taunting people, trying to upset them. And they probably got money off the cultural Marxists. So the thing is to roll the dice too far over and over again. So there's a kind of Weimar Republic stage now. Now we don't want the Weimar Republic ending. That's the thing. We don't want the National Socialism kind of ending, because that's too extreme. What we want is a kind of a tapering off of that, where, okay, you've had enough. You've got all the civil rights, and we totally respect that, and it's all good now. Now let's get back to running society in a normal way. And so, as I said in the video today, wait. I just have a feeling. I can taste it. I can feel it. There is a John Wayne event. Doesn't mean it's John Wayne person, but there's a John Wayne event coming. I can feel it. I can just feel something changing in the future that will probably shift us back to an equilibrium of sanity. So, just wait. There's a tremendous power in waiting. There's a tremendous power in that. This concept of, like, just hold on, it'll happen, and learning the masterful skills of tempering your psychology while that's happening. And while that's happening, you temper your psychology. So you do. See, that's why I'm always telling you, do your hobbies. Don't get all upset about that. Yeah, you've got every right to get upset about it. Okay? But, like, do your hobbies. You know, fall in love. Paint a picture. Have a great day with your kids in the park or in the mountains. Go fishing. Do things that you can do, but still have that rage inside you. But don't let that rage become you. And there's a fucking great beauty in that. All my money was lost yesterday. Now, yeah, I'm not too upset because I'll probably get it back, but I worked my bollocks off for that. But at the same time, too, I'm not going to let it destroy my life. So I could be walking around today, go fuck, banging things and stuff like that. No, I'm just going to go out and do a few things and hustle up some money to replace it. But I mean, there's a lock on the account now. It's safe. The money's safe, and it's fraud's taking care of it. But there'll be no point in me being upset and all pissed off about it, because it wouldn't change anything or speed the process up. So I'm waiting for the bank fraud people to get fixed, sorted out, and then the insurance will give me my money back. So there's a beautiful, I fucking hope they do, but there's a beautiful virtue in that. And so I think, 3 years ago, if I had have lost this money, I'd be like, fuck, damn it, I'd be really upset. But I've learned the power of the waiting game with this whole the lockdown and all the Rona and the lies and everything that they filled us with. So there's a zen-like quality, and I'm not patronizing you or anything like that. I'm not trying to say, look, things are going to be perfect or anything like that. But there is a wait, a holding, and a waiting game, because the seeds of destruction are already planted within the body of tyranny, and all you have to do is wait for those seeds to sprout. In the meantime, live, enjoy life, be thankful that you have your health. These little things. And and then you'll be okay. Seize the day, as they say. Okay, I love you all. Bye. Take care.